Good morning and welcome. I am Rebecca from Lux Innovation, and I will animate today's session webinar on Horizon Europe and the thematics of citizen science and the European research area. A few housekeeping rules before we enter the topic, in order also to let people connect. This webinar is recorded and will be available on our website, which is horizoneurope.lu. You have access on the right of the screen to a question tab and chat tab, where you can ask the questions and I can answer them either live or by writing. And what else? Yes, this webinar will last around 45 minutes. And I think we can start. So we'll start with an introduction, then we'll cover the topic of European research area, and we'll go deeper in the meaning of European research area and tackle citizen science, gender, ethic, open science in Horizon Europe, and then we will have some time for the Q&A. So I said I work at Lux Innovation as advisor for European funding, more specifically Horizon Europe. Lux Innovation is Luxembourg National Agency for Innovation, and their role is to support Luxembourg stakeholders in their application process for Horizon Europe fundings, European research and innovation projects, and in order to get the funding. We are advisor, but we also are national contact point for the program Horizon Europe, which means that we are mandated by the European Commission and the Luxembourg ministries to offer our services and the support to Luxembourg stakeholders. So what are our services? We will help you develop your idea into a project and thus find the relevant funding opportunity within Horizon Europe program. And we will also help you identify the partners once you are working in the consortium to apply to the call, because Horizon Europe is a collaborative program, so meaning at least 3 entities from 3 different countries should work together to create a project and apply to the call. So once you are in this consortium working with the partners, we can check with you if all partners are they are showing complementarity, or if you are lacking some key expertise, then we can help you identify this expertise and the best partner that would offer this. But we also offer technical support, such as providing advice, trainings. We do critical proposal review, so we review the proposal that you have written before you submit it. We don't review on the content, but on the form. So if you respond to the call, if you have all point tackled and so on, we offer we answer your questions on legal and financial, and we offer also advice on it. This series of webinars on Horizon Europe is part of this technical support, and we have launched it beginning of February, and we are slowly coming to the end. Besides being national contact point, we are national representatives, so we represent Luxembourg interest at the Commission level when the work program are discussed also. So we have quite some information on hand. Horizon Europe, what it is. So it's the European Research and Innovation Funding Program for 7 years, 21-27. It has a budget of 95.5 billion for these 7 years, and a good part of it should be allocated for climate change related projects. So the program is the flagship program of the Union for Research and Innovation. It covers the fundamental research and until the market uptake. So it's very broad in the scope. Its aim is to strengthen the scientific and technological base of the European Union in order to tackle major global challenges, to contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. So it has the aim of having an international impact, but also a European impact with regard supporting the twin transition, the European twin transition, the transition towards a green economy and a digital economy with the Green Deal strategy and the digital strategy. More on the digital strategy, the three main axes of this strategy are to have a technology that works for people, to have a fair and competitive digital economy, and an open, democratic, and sustainable society. So you see that the society, the citizen, are part of this transition towards a digital environment, digital future. And regarding the Green Deal, so it's about turning the climate and environmental challenges into opportunities to make the transition just and inclusive for all. Here again, the importance of the society and the citizen in the transition and the evolution of the economy and society. The Green Deal also targets all environmental pressures with the aim to cut the greenhouse gas emission by at least 55% by 2030 and to have Europe become climate neutral by 2050. Horizon Europe is also built around strategic orientation that are discussed and developed for 4 years. They will be re-evaluated in 2024 so that the program respond to them to the best way possible. One of these key strategic orientation, the number 4, is really important for today's session. It's about creating a resilient, inclusive and democratic European society that is prepared and responsive to the threats and disasters. Horizon Europe is also about addressing inequalities and providing healthcare, but also empowering all citizens to act in the green and digital transition. So as we have seen just right now, in the strategies, digital and green strategies, the citizen is key, and it is also key for Horizon Europe. It is written in the objectives where the program is built around. So Horizon Europe will help develop innovation, policies and institutions in order to support the democratic processes, enhance the trust in democratic institutions, and through, important for today, the gender equality. So again, the structure of Horizon Europe, it follows a global approach from the concept and fundamental research to the market uptake. So it's organized around 3 pillars. The first one is on excellent science, about reinforcing the scientific leadership of the European Union, the quality of the knowledge and the skill developments. The second one, global challenges and European industrial competitiveness, is about taking forward the societal challenges and the industrial technologies. And the third pillar, Innovative Europe, is to support the scale-up of breakthrough and market creating innovation. And then you have at the bottom, widening participation and strengthening the European research area. So this is a transversal work program with transversal activities, mainly in 2 directions, so widening participation and spreading excellence. So there it's about sharing the excellence to exploit the potential of less research and innovation performing countries, which are called the EU 13, so mainly the countries that access the European Union later on. So the Eastern Bloc, Central Eastern Bloc, plus others such as Portugal or Greece. And this year they have added the outermost regions, so the tiny island of France, for instance. And you have the second part on the right, which is about reforming and enhancing the European research system, which we are going then now to see more into details. So the European research area is the basis for this underlying activities, widening participation and strengthening the European research area. And it's important to understand the concept of European research area, what it is. Basically, it's about stimulating coherent research policy in Europe. And I thought it would be interesting to do a bit of history, look back into time, where it comes from and where we are going. So the concept was pinned in 2000. In the communication towards the European research area, it was about achieving a better organization of research in Europe. The Commission had recognized that the research was very fragmented, very national, and so they wanted to have a more European spirit in the research world. Then the communication was evaluated in 2027, and they have created new goals. So it was the European Research Area New Perspective Communication. The main objective of this communication is to have the fifth freedom to become a reality. So the fifth freedom, just like that, we don't really know what it is, but it's about lifting the barriers to the freedom of movement of knowledge, which is allowing and facilitating the mobility of researchers. So from 27, we have seen investment in research and innovation to have future job and growth, and also to have the mobility of researchers. Then 2012, new re-evaluation of the document about reinforcing the ERA Partnership for Excellence and Growth. So it was about strengthening the partnership between the Commission, Member State and stakeholders to create a genuine single market for knowledge and research and innovation. And then we have a new communication, a new European research area, which comes from the recognition from the Commission that there are still large disparities between the different countries. So hence the term of less performant research and innovation countries, and that the progress of having a coherent research policy in Europe and a coherent research area is slowing down. So the point of improvement that this communication wants to tackle is to have the 3% GDP target invested in the research at national level should be achieved. For instance, in Luxembourg, the country is investing 0.7% of its GDP in the research, which is quite a high score in Europe. The Commission wants to reduce significantly the divide in the research and innovation performance across the countries. So there are some specific action that targets these less performance research innovation countries so that they reach the level of the more performant research and innovation countries. And these are the widening activities. We'll see just briefly afterwards. The European research area is about also having policy reforms, improving the translation of research innovation results in the economy to support the transition and the recovery, to have some progress in the gender equality, and to involve better the citizen and the society. So all in all, this new communication that is building Horizon Europe also is about revitalizing the European research area to make it fit for purpose in the global changing environment and to tackle the long-standing challenges. But it's important to keep in mind that anyway, the era is a synonym with single borderless market for research, innovation, and technology across Europe, where the countries come together, improve their research policies and systems, and where there is free movement of researchers, knowledge, and innovation. These are the accomplishments of the European research area. So it's not something to dismiss. It's very important. The impact is very big for researchers and the knowledge transfer, but it's not enough. So the new European research area communication is about prioritizing investment and reform in research and innovation, strengthening the mobility of the research and the free flow of knowledge, boosting the market uptake, improving the access to excellence for the researchers. And it is underpinned by 14 points of actions. I have listed a few that are interesting for today's thematic. So about the target of 3% GDP invested in the EU research, but also to have a platform of peer-reviewed open access publishing and also to incentivize the open science practices in Horizon Europe, in the research area in Europe in general, to promote gender equality, diversity, inclusiveness in the science, research, and innovation world, but also to organize citizen science campaign and hackathon, to engage citizens, and the focus is quite on young people to have them interested in science and innovation. So this communication on the new European area is the basis for these transversal activities, widening participation, strengthening the research area, but also for the entire program. So again, where you can find it mostly. So these transversal activities are organized around four strands about prioritizing investment, translating the research innovation results into the economic value, improving the access to excellence, and deepening the era where you have the open science, the science education, the ethics and integrity, gender, citizen science. So the European research area, as we have said a bit earlier, is not the level of research and innovation, the performance of the country is not the same in every country in Europe. So the Commission has targeted actions for best performing research and innovation countries. So it's 15 member states, now 9 outermost regions that are eligible for the widening actions as coordinator mainly. But there are some actions. So Luxembourg is not part of this group. Luxembourg is a high performance research innovation country. It's a leader in innovation. But still, Luxembourg can have an impact and can have a role to play within these action and especially in the teaming and twining actions. So it can be Luxembourg can play a role of role model for universities or researchers in the widening countries, and they can build some links and some work together so that these countries, widening countries, learn from the results of Luxembourg. So this is for your information what is possible in this part that we don't speak so much about, but can be interesting, especially given the international aspect of Luxembourg research area. So now citizen science, gender, open science, ethic is part of the European research area. It's part of these underlying transversal activities, but not only, as we will see. So under Horizon Europe, the objectives are to accelerate the transition toward open science, to provide the researcher with attractive career environment, and for citizen science is to support the formal, non-formal, and informal science education, to have more effective communication and engagement of citizens. Horizon Europe is also about supporting and monitoring gender equality and to have ethics and integrity applied to the research world more than it is now, or have it as a normality. So citizen science, the definition of the European Commission, so that we speak the same language, it's voluntary participation of non-professional scientists in research and innovation at different stage of the process and at different level of engagement. The aim is to improve the research, its outcome, and reinforce the societal trust in science. And for Horizon Europe, this is taken from the legal basis. So you see that it's at the core of the program. So Horizon Europe will reinforce the interaction between science and society to promote co-creation of research innovation agendas, involve the citizen and the civil society directly in doing the research and the innovation across the program and through dedicated activities. So across the program, this means that if you want to do citizen science activities, the best way for you is to look into the pillar 2, into the clusters regarding the thematic you are working on, and there in all the cores you have the citizen science and the importance of involving the citizen. So citizen science is everywhere. Really, the best way is to look for the thematic you want to work on or you are working on currently. But if you want to do science or the citizen science, then this you can find in under the widening era part, so this transversal pillar, and there the science of citizen science will be about increasing the awareness and recognition of the citizen science as a valid mode of research innovation. It will be about improving the capacities to conduct citizen science, to improve the quality of the practice, and also about increasing the scale and the scope of the practice of citizen science within the European research and innovation. So for citizen science, really it depends on the thematic you are working on, and then if you want to do science of the citizen science. Then regarding gender equality and inclusiveness, so it's a cross-cutting priority in Horizon Europe, and it concerns all parts of the program, with the aim to eliminate gender inequalities and intersecting socioeconomic inequalities through research and innovation, addressing the unconscious bias and systemic structural barriers, and the integration of the gender dimension is a requirement by default in research and innovation content across the whole program. So again, gender equality and inclusiveness, you will find it around the whole program, so around all the different pillars, and especially in pillar 2, the different clusters. So there again, if you want to work on the gender dimension and gender inequality, you can work on it, apply to the thematic you work on normally. Then you can find it also under this transversal pillar, widening era, and there it will be about the science of gender equality mostly. One particular attention could be on cluster 2, which is about societal science and humanities, where you have also where the gender dimension is quite important. Open science practices, it's the modus operandi for carrying research and innovation about sharing knowledge, data, and tools as early as possible in open collaboration with all relevant knowledge actors and society. The principle applied by the Commission is to be as open as possible, as closed as necessary. So it means that under every call, every pillar, you will have the need to apply open science, but to have the research on open science, this you will find it under the European research area part, and you will find mostly calls about the exchange of good practices and tools, the development of guidance and training, implementation of institutional changes, consolidation of evidence on the impacts. So open science practices, you apply it all over Horizon Europe, but for the practice, the knowledge, the science of open science, it's under the widening Europe part. And then the ethics and integrity. It's considered a prerequisite for the research excellence and a critical factor in achieving the socially relevant impacts. All the projects will have to respect the European Code of Conduct for Research Integrity. So it's everywhere. Under Horizon Europe, the aim will be to address the ethical dimension of the new technology in order to have ethics as a design, by design, in every call. So ethics and integrity, you will find it in all the calls as all the different key issues we have just discussed about. The main takeaway about these specific issues, citizen science, gender equality, ethic, integrity, open science, is that they play a central role in the entire program Horizon Europe. They are present in all the calls under Horizon Europe, in particular the Pillar 2, where you have societal challenges and about the industrial competitiveness. But still, well, you have lots of opportunities in Horizon Europe, so the best way for you is to find, to look for what you do, the thematics that you want to work on, and look in these different pillars. If you want to do the science of these concepts, then you have to look in the widening era parts for the different opportunities there. I have listed a few calls that will come for 2021 to give you an example of what you can expect regarding the science of this concept in the European Research Area Work Programme. So there would be calls for about the societal trust in science, research and innovation, on capacity building and brokering network to make citizen science an integral part of the European research area. There's a call on supporting and giving the recognition to citizen science in the European research area again, about developing a STEAM roadmap for science education in Europe. There's a call on building a center of excellence on inclusive gender equality in research innovation, and one, for instance, on the challenges of research ethics and integrity in response to the crisis, the COVID crisis. So this is a list of the most relevant calls under the widening era. As said, if you are working, for instance, in a circular economy, then best way for you would be to look in the circular economy calls, and there you can apply your actions and your knowledge better. We have done several webinars on the thematic part of Horizon Europe. So if you want to know more about it, you can find the recording on our website, horizoneurope.lu, or we can organize a meeting and discuss this together. The last point will be more about for information for you. Horizon Europe is the program that we have talked about, but there are some activities satelliting around, and one are the missions, which are transversal and built on co-design logic. So you have 5 mission areas, and each of these missions has a specific goal to reach. So there will be a lot of projects with the co-design logic, with the aim of involving the citizen, projects that will need to have an impact, real impact, very quickly. And about which are these projects, we will know more in 2022. So if you want to apply citizen science, this could be a very interesting area, or the mission will be very interesting for you. Just keep an eye open. We will know more for 2022. So that's it. If you have questions, you are welcome to ask them in the Q&A or in the chat, and I will give you a few minutes in case. It doesn't seem to be questions. In case you have questions later, I'll write my emails in the chat so you can ask them. And otherwise, thank you for coming, joining us, listening, and for your interest. Ça marche pas. So here you have my address, and yes. Well, I wish you all a nice day, and see you next time. Bye.